Okay. Again, hi everybody. Thanks for joining in. I have Euler here with me on stage, and we're gonna basically go over a bunch of really exciting things that we wanted to share for a longer time. Touch upon what has been happening, what we've been up to, and what you can expect in the next couple months from Zevers, which is currently entering kind of a little bit of a faster phase, let's say, with what we're going to do, what we're going to release and share with you. So there's a lot to go over. And in the meantime, maybe Euler, you can say hi as well.
Yo, yo, yo. Pretty exciting AMA tonight. And yeah, I think a lot of you are gonna be pretty excited about what's coming next. And in the meantime, if anyone wishes to speak, just feel free to request and come on stage and have some chat.
Yeah, and you can drop your questions either in the Seek Answers chat, or there's a chat right here in the live stream on the right-hand side, a chat icon that you can open up and drop your questions, because I imagine there's going to be quite a few. So let's maybe dig in and just start with kind of the first things first is our most recent release, which was The Forge, which has seen a very cool engagement from you. And we've just finished up our first round, and we're very happy about how it has turned out. The new boss, which is absolutely epic, and kind of a few new mechanics that we introduced that we hope are gonna, help us maintain uh, the spark in Zverse on recurring basis, where the system we design with modifiers, we intend to experiment with it. And each week as we play, we can introduce newer and newer buffs and debuffs to see how you guys cope with the challenges and see how you adapt your teams and equipment, and then basically start playing with combining those two, right? So how the equipment reacts with buffs and with these different types of Z, and eventually start introducing equipment that's going to buff certain types of Z, let's say, and certain abilities and so on. So that's all really cool. We've heard your feedback as well about the dungeons. There's certainly a few things we can improve on. And, one thing worth mentioning is if some of you already maybe seen the discussions we had in the suggestions forum about the purpose of the Forge, that it is to be more of an end game thing for players who have been with us for a long time and perhaps achieved somewhat of an end game state, getting their Z to level 50s, getting a bunch of different equipment, and now lacking sort of a challenge. And so basically, this Forge was meant to extend the lifespan of the end game, which of course isn't the end, and of course more new stuff is going to come out like in regards to that. Um, but so basically, the reason we also, and we're going to get to the fishing, released this first is because we also needed a segue, because fishing is going to bring in consumables to Zevers, and we had to have a proper use case for consumables, right? Because just using fish in the regular dungeons might not be as useful as it may seem at first, because you can easily progress through dungeons anyways, in a moderate pace. But here with this forge and with the new modifiers and challenges, you really, when you can see that people are now struggling to pass a certain level, even with high Z, this is where, like, let's say fish at first is really going to come in, is trying and help you get that little extra inch to kind of get you through the level or whatnot. So that's something we're going to be looking forward to. So far, yeah, we'd like to still hear your feedback about the Forge and how what you think we could experiment there with, what we can improve, and so on. I don't know, maybe Euler, you have a few words you want to say, because there's also an interesting mechanic, because it's the first time in Zevers that we're dropping items in dungeons from the bosses. And those items are actually off chain, so they're in the game. And so this means that same as we had introduced an option to withdraw Z, you can now also withdraw the items that have fallen from the bosses. And so this is how we're entering kind of getting closer to this phase of a proper withdrawal and deposit system in Zevers, so we can make it scalable and safe for everyone and so on. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. One thing actually to add, the ones which are like listening, maybe you can like jump in Zevers and also hang around there where we are holding the space. This is something what we are exploring in the future, and we see a lot of potential for Zevers to becoming like a social hub where also other communities can start to have these spaces. And yeah, I think it's just nice that we have this opportunity to see each other while we are talking. And I think the future of like all the drops and rewards regarding the spaces will be done through this way. So just jump in Zevers
Yes,
while we are
100%.
talking. Yeah. Regarding the Forge, like honestly, I was like super excited to see, because for like past months, let's be real, most of our experienced players has been like grinding level 70 in regular dungeon on autoplay. And we value that. We value the fact that you sticked around so long, and we felt that it's time to add some real challenge. And it was so much fun looking the different strategies, looking how you really pushed, and seeing that game actually has some challenge finally for our most experienced players. And I think this is good path. This is the path we gonna take and keep building on in the future. What goes for the items? I think this new legendary item, what can be dropped from the boss, is actually quite a bit of a turning point for Zevers, because since day one, our goal has always been to build the biggest player-driven economy, and I think we will gradually switch more and more into the form where all the new items, all the new stuff, eventually all the items can be only obtained through the game. So loot pods right now play a pretty good role into like distributing these first items and creating some social experiences. But I think we'll see more and more new stuff coming in a game only available through the gameplay. So the supply will pretty much depend on how many players manage to get these things from in-game activities. And I think that's actually quite exciting, because yeah, sorry, go on.
Yeah, no, that's right. And I just wanted to reiterate that, hey, we're currently hanging in the lobby. And so the reason we kind of want to do it is that we've been talking with some projects behind the scenes of trying to, see how we can use the Zevers platform for such activities. And it makes sense. And so one thing we want to do is like eventually host all of these spaces in game. We'll see about the voice chat, but we're gonna implement drop parties. We'd like you to be inside Zevers asking questions there in the chat. Of course, I'm just sitting now and switching between the tabs. But yeah, we're thinking that's going to be like a great way to just share news and updates is for everyone to log into Zevers and listen and hang out and flex your shiny llamas and cool emotes and so on. So thanks for those who have joined us here. And yeah, about the items. So one thing mention also here is the whole idea of like currently the way we have the item structured is, as you know, there's kind of different categories of them depending on whether they're off-chain or on-chain and how all those things interact. And so far, the way it worked, always when you got a loot pod in the game, let's say, it was an in-game off-chain loot pod. And then you open it, you pay a little V transaction, which effectively just covers the gas fee, and then all the items get airdropped to you on Arbitrum on-chain, right? Same with the Z. All the Z were in game, and now you were able to withdraw them also by covering a little transaction fee. And then then again, on the website, when let's say you buy loot pods, you have to deposit them because first they're on chain, that's where you can sell them. But once you deposit them, you cannot actually take them out. And so now with these items, right, these items are also in game and you're able to withdraw them. And so we're going to look into trying to unify this experience so that, there's a one kind of straight approach to how we handle all of this that perhaps, hey, if you want to use the item in the game, you have to deposit it, even if you bought it. And if you're using it in game to sell it, you have to withdraw it first. And then, to have it a little bit straightforward and have the system also be safe because, the on-chain transactions can someone have a little lag and, there's vectors for exploits, even though we have handled everything very well so far. But for example, there's been a guy just still for the last few days just trying to ping our APIs very hard and trying to farm tutorial quests or something like that. So somebody has been trying to really aggressively uh, infiltrate our systems unsuccessfully so far, but we're just monitoring and seeing, hey, like what are these vectors that people are trying to approach and get to us? And we know that this problem, as Zevers grows, may become more and more prominent. And so that's kind of the reason we're taking these slow steps with like the on-chain things is to make sure everything's kind of safe and we eliminate, fuck ups as much as possible. So
Yeah.
that's kind of
Cool.
that about the items, about the Forge, which is exciting. So the next Forge is launching midnight UTC Friday.
Yeah, in about 33 hours.
Yeah, so and so like us to share the modifiers for the dungeons in advance so that you can prepare, let's say, your teams and buy some equipment, or would you rather have it as a surprise and kind of get the modifiers revealed on the day of the dungeon? Please let us know because that's something we've been chatting here about.
Drop emojis in a game if you want to see them. Okay, nobody's dropping, so surprise. Okay. Okay, let's keep voting going on, and
Yeah. So about
maybe
streaming,
yeah.
that's something we'll be looking into as well. But anyways, yeah, there's much other stuff to cover. So next up is the arena. So the question is, what we gonna do with the current PvP arena? And the answer is that now we're working on a new PvP game mode. That's going to be the next thing that comes out. And it's sort of going to be separate from the arena. And what we're going to do is bring the arena back to how it was initially envisioned when we held these community tournaments, is that basically when you go into the arena, you will be able to create your own lobby. You'll be able to create lobby, set certain settings, set how many people you'd like to participate in the tournament, set what should be, whether it should be free or whether it should have some sort of entry cost that the winner can then later split. You'll be able to set whether you want the shamans to be able to use equipment and count equipment, and whether you'd like to have all the Z be the same level, so it's a pure skill tournament, or if you'd like to have it, free for all. So basically, we're gonna transform this PvP realm that we have now into a tournament builder. And that's going to be a great tool both for you guys who have been trying to make tournaments on your own. We know that some of the tournaments have been organized where you guys just wanted to fight with lower level Cs to see who just has better skill and understanding of the game. So that's why we're enabling this mode. And the second of all is we want to start working with different guilds more. And this is going to help us create a framework where essentially, hey, a guild can come to us. They can say that they have this many players, and then they'll be able to set up a tournament, and we'll give them a little bit of a reward pool, and then they'll just self-host the whole tournament, create content around it, and same with us. Along with this game mode, we'll be able to host our own tournaments again once a week, once a month. Put in certain rewards, put in a prize pool, but just do it all in game so that everybody's present there and you can track everything. basically, yeah, that's something we're excited about. I think is going to help us a lot with like engaging people into PvP. So you can look forward to that. Actually, not that far off. I think perhaps in the next few weeks it might even be ready to go live. So yeah, that's the PvP. I don't know, maybe uh Edgars, you can tell us a bit more how the ranking is gonna work there, whether we're gonna take it off and just replace it to the new game mode that we're doing, or how is that gonna work?
Yeah, totally. So we were like basically looking on how you guys were like exploiting the previous PvP system, and to some extent it kind of worked as we wanted, but I'm kind of a big believer of like bad design will eventually get exploited, and that's actually what you did. So we have come up with like a new system, something which will be capable of driving way more engagement, and at the same time uh, some form of innovation what we're bringing in into Zverse. So this new game mode, which is about to be released in around 3 weeks, we're gonna start
Yeah,
dropping
so
some
maybe
things.
maybe both PvP updates actually are gonna go live at the same time, so
Yeah,
that the
there
tournament
is
island transforms. Yeah.
yeah, there is a chance for that. So and this new mode is something completely new coming in the Zverse. It will be accessible for every player, no matter what level you are. And the goal is for us to combine staking V token in-game staking. So you're going to be able to stake off-chain V tokens. This is something we heard back in days in suggestion channel, and it will be combined with the PvP. So in a really simple scenario, you're gonna go in this new bank, which will be located into the mountain, and you will be able to stake your in-game V tokens, off-chain V tokens, and these tokens will earn a yield for you every single minute, basically every single day. But the thing is, other players can try to rob you. So you will be placing protectors, your Z's and your Shaman, which will be protecting your vault. So in case any player decides to attack you, there will be your Z's basically protecting them. In case other player succeeds, he will be able to steal some portion of yield which you have been generated since like so far. And this will kind of create a dynamic where players will be going out hunting for players having large amount of V tokens staked. On the other hand, players who are willing to stake their V tokens in a game will be able to experience high yields. The APIs will be based on your ELO score. So we're going to use still the same scoring methods we used on the PvP island. But in this case, your rank, the amount of rank points you have, will be determining how much API you are generating a year on on daily basis. So the higher rank you are, the better the yield. The better the yield, the more attractive you are for other players try to rob you. So you'll have to have like some good stuff to protect those like juicy yields. And
That's one, and then also
yeah,
kind of, so essentially it's going to be an asynchronous PvP mode. Because right now, if you want to fight PvP, you have to have all the players on site and ready to fight. And we recognize that it's not an ideal solution if you don't have like thousands upon thousands of players playing at every single moment, especially with different ranks. And so this is going to be like more like one of those Clash of Kings type of game modes on a synchronous PvP, where you basically is going to have your vault and people are going to be able to raid it. But then, in order to prevent people from raiding it, it's going to also replace the daily quests that you have guys seen in Zebras before, where you just had to log in. But here, instead of just doing a daily quest, you'll have to log in daily to claim your yield, right? And then if it's claimed, then nobody will be able to raid it. And so, while you're away from the game, it's going to keep generating and generating. And then once a day or whenever, whatever is the minimum time limit is, you're going to have to come in and claim it. And do I understand correctly that there's going to be an item that you need to claim it? So you actually have to go into the dungeon, get the item, and then you're able to claim the yield.
Yeah, exactly. So in order to attack, and also in order to collect the yield, you will have to have a special item. And this item it's tradable, of course. And this item can be obtained from regular dungeons. So what it does, it basically serves as a ticket for you to basically claim the yield you have earned. Once you claim the yield, you will use up the ticket. So this way, we kind of avoid the situations where players are like claiming the yield every minute. But at the same time, the same ticket, the same item can be used to raid other bases. So the player who is like actually attacking you, they are also risking something. So this is something what we wanted to ensure, that there is some level of balance, and it kind of taps back into the core gameplay, which is PvE. And I think this also will give opportunity for low-level players, some players who may not be interested in this feature at all, to just become participants of this economy. So they will be playing the dungeon. Some of them will be getting those tickets, and they will be able to like sell those tickets to the players who are like enjoying way bigger amounts of V-staked and kind of playing on a different league. So it will kind of create some form of sub economy within the game, and
Yep.
I think this is just another item which is just produced by players, consumed by players. We are like not taking any part in this. We are just basically making sure everything works as it's intended. So this is
Yeah, and also
pretty
there's going to
pretty.
be
Sorry,
Yeah,
go on.
sorry. There's also going to be like a little story around the whole thing, and we'll see if we're going to release a teaser. But basically, in the next couple of weeks, you see a lot of really cool assets pulled out, and the idea is that there's going to be kind of a Zever's bank where all of this happens. And in order to raid other people, you'll have to almost bribe kind of the bank security guard, so he allows you into the vault of other players, and we'll see how it's going to play out. But it kind of currently shaping up to be quite a fun little game mode. So yeah, do you have anything else to add about this heist?
Not exactly about the haste. So, like, obviously, more detail will follow. I saw one question in chat, which asks when we will be able to evolve our Z's. I would like to answer that one. So, as you saw in the Forge, there is already 3 new second evolution Z's as an opponent. So our plan regarding that is we're gonna add gradually 6 remaining second evolution Z's in the Forge. So the Forge will be a place where they are kind of tested, and then we're gonna plan to introduce evolution. So you will be able to evolve your Z's into the second form, and this is like not basically set in the stone, but we may then increase a bit of like a level cap. So once you get second evolution Z, you probably will be able to level it up a bit further. So this will kind of generally increase the playing field for everyone, and this these new levels will also allow us to add more variations, probably of the forge, and just overall add more difficulty in the game, therefore more challenge. Yeah. So I think this pretty much should cover it. So we are pretty much aiming to
Yep.
do this the moment we have all the remaining 6Zs.
Yep. That's the plan. So will there be blah blah blah? Benefits for Genesis Mask holders in new game mode. So there's lots more coming for the Genesis Mask, and we're gonna get to it in a moment. Before we go forward, though, I'd like to say that we asked the mods to take screenshots and basically record people who are with us here today on this AMA, kind of at the beginning and a few times in the middle and at the end. And we're basically going to see who
And
of
in
you
the
guys
Zverse.
stayed with us. In Zevers, we won't be able to maybe track that as well because we have to match the usernames. But at some point, for sure, I think we have to put in the pipeline like a voice chat for Zevers, so we can host these AMAs. Because now I found myself kind of switching the tab to Discord and then being kicked out for an activity. So like it has to be probably inside the Zevers if we want to make the AMA thing work. So, anyways,
I think there is
for the masks. Sorry?
Yeah, there is one guy willing to come on the stage.
That's fine. Let's let everyone on stage at the end.
Okay.
If that's okay. Yeah, because we have an agenda we'd like to go through, and then you guys are welcome to hop in and there's gonna be basically much more stuff to discuss by the end of this. And so yeah, our mods are gonna take some screenshots, and then afterwards we cannot say what yet it is, but we're gonna reward a few people and pick out from the audience to get something that's going to help you in the next couple of weeks. So, anyways, moving forward. Yeah, so fishing is the next big thing. I don't know, maybe Weller, you can say a bit more about the different types of fish, the mechanics, because you probably guys have seen a bunch of sneak peeks with different kind of rarities and so on.
Yeah, and a bunch of you already have like the fishing rods, so that's kind of nice position to be in right now. So with the fishing, like Jay said earlier on this AMA, before we released it, like functionality itself, it's quite simple, but whenever we add something, we're also looking for utility for those things. And up till now, there was like no real challenge, so there is no need to have like something what makes game even easier. And with the forge coming in, we finally have it. So we are already working on the fishing, and the idea around the fishing is that this will be another piece of player-driven economy. So the way how fishing gonna work is you will be still playing the game as you have been playing until now, but sometimes you will see that you get rewarded like a fishing bait. So this is a drop what you can receive from just playing the game. And once you have the fishing bait, it will allow you to go to the river and try to catch some fish if you have a fishing rod. So in order to fish, you're going to need a fishing rod and you're going to need a fishing bait. Fishing bait is consumable. So whenever you fish, or at least try to fish, you're going to consume that. So all the fishes what are produced within the economy actually comes from the players because they are providing the resources which are required in order to catch those fishes. So when you're fishing, it will act basically as some form of like a lottery RNG. So the better fishing rod you have, the better odds you have for catching like super rare and good fish. So better fishing rod equals better stuff you get out of every fishing bait consumed. The thing about the fishes is in the beginning, they will be quite simple. So by default, every fish will increase and restore your HP in a battle for your Zs. So you will be able to bring in few of these fishes in a battle, and whenever you feel a need to use them in a battle, you will be able to basically select the fish, choose which Z you want to heal, and then basically you heal your Z. So quite simple. The simple fishes will heal only like a few of HP, and therefore their HP per slot taken into the battle value will be way lower than the good stuff. You will have like a small chance, even with like a regular fishing rod, to catch like this legendary fish, which obviously will be used mostly for high level players and very, very hard challenges. Yeah, so better fishing rod is way better chance to get your hands on a good stuff. Before you can use those fishes in a battle, you will also will have to cook them. So in order to cook them, you will have to go to the fireplace, and then you're gonna like cook the fish. And once it's cooked, it can be used in a battle. But at every stage, these things can be traded. So if you decide you want to be like just a fisherman in the Zverse, you can basically buy some fishing bait from other players and spend your days just fishing and chilling in a
And
lobby,
so,
and yeah,
and
and sell
does
later
the
on selling your stuff.
is kind of at first the fish is only going to heal, right? But eventually
Yeah,
you would
yeah,
want it to give different buffs and so on.
yeah. I think with the more regions introduced in the Zverse, and we can introduce gradually more and more content, so you will find yourself in the places where at some point you will be able to catch even more exotic stuff, stuff which will give you a bunch of different buffs, different types of heals. Some fishes will give you shields. So there is actually quite a big playing ground there. As always, we usually start simple. Yeah, so fishing gonna definitely add way more depth into the battles, because like there is one more thing you can do to like change the result, change the outcome of the battle. And this is like basically the direction where we're going. The same thing we did with items, and we just saw how in the forge this equipment completely can change the outcome and can completely like define the strategy what you're using. And we hope to achieve the same with adding like food in general. And yeah, we believe this will make game way more exciting, strategy way more deeper, and generally our economy way more stronger. And maybe before we go further, if there's anything, Jay, you want to add on the fishing, I wanted to just give you some idea how our economy is doing right now, because it's like doing freaking good. And
Yeah,
yeah,
I think
so
we'll get to it in a second. Maybe we can quickly answer a couple questions. So first one is about the masks. Yeah, Euler here is kind of trying to communicate with Vault to fix the issues with the mask staking. But essentially, if your 90 days are over and the timer ends, you can continue staking your mask, and it's just going to, continue accumulating the points. But yeah, maybe you can tell us a bit what's the situation there.
yeah, so the thing is, all the data is actually saved, and even if you see those things where you somehow how lost the points if you move the mask after 30 days, this still sits in the database. We're kind of it's a bit of confusing because Wall Team is mostly speaking Chinese, so like communication is not as smooth as we would like to, but we're moving there. And regarding like what Jay said about unstaking, you don't have to press anything or restake. It's okay if you just keep mask sitting there. Even after 90 days, it will still continue accumulating the points, which then will contribute and decide the size of airdrop you're gonna receive when Z token will be launching.
Yeah,
And
but
yeah,
we're
for the
going to look
players,
to
are
improve
gone.
the UX a little bit anyways.
Yeah,
With the
for
staking,
sure.
with the info. And in fact, we're finally refreshing our website. So our new homepage is going to go live hopefully this week as well. And then it's going to follow the rest of the pages, and we're going to integrate it into this one bigger kind of web platform, because eventually we want to do have a marketplace on our own website, the Zdex and everything else. So we're finally getting an upgrade on that as well. But it's one of on the kind of in the context of all the other things, it's kind of quite a minor improvement, but it's still going to be pretty cool. So yeah, I don't know, maybe you can take us through some data with the economy to give people some idea how we've been doing.
Totally. Before I go into that, there's actually a bit more beans to spill. And regarding the staking, in a few next days, we also gonna add LP staking for V token. So we're looking to increase liquidity in a Magic Swap. So we're gonna add a new option to stake V token plus Magic token in order to earn some yields, and this will probably make price in Magic Swap more stable and less volatile. And yeah, this is just also a piece of the economy. But I think most exciting thing is that for past 2-3 months, our economy has been doing particularly well. So what I mean by that is every time we add something new, we see the volumes increasing gradually. I think I will share that sometime soon. But more importantly, we see that the sinks are working way better than we expected. And to put this in a perspective, over last 2 months, we have generated 30 million V tokens in net profits. So that means we have generated 30 million more tokens back through the different kind of things like upgrades, loot box purchases, attribute rolls, etc. Than we have given out in rewards, and this kind of solidifies the idea that we are building something which will be sustainable in the long run. And while all of this is happening, we also see V token price gradually climbing up, which then kind of even more improves the effect and our well-being as an ecosystem. So yeah, I'll probably write a thread about this. This is actually pretty exciting stuff, and this kind of taps back into these fundamental concepts of how we are building Zverse economy and how we see the future of it. But the general idea is that our ultimate goal is to distribute all the V tokens to the player base. So the V token is owned and run by players completely. And the moment when economy is stable as this, we see this as something completely new, something better than most of existing systems, way better than play to earn models, which has proven themselves as something not very sustainable over longer periods of time. And plus, because V token is fixed supply token, this kind of puts some constraints and just makes us think a bit different. But yeah, the general idea is economy is doing way better than we anticipated at the beginning, and our ultimate goal is eventually distribute all V tokens and all the ownership to our player base and make it truly a player-driven economy. And we are just getting there step by step. Yeah.
Sounds good. So now we're going to return to all the other questions. And I'm just honestly sitting here still thinking because I'm about to post something on Twitter, and I'd like you guys, everyone, to kind of go on Twitter because we're gonna have a little watch party, kind of. And I'm still sitting here thinking of what to kind of post along with the tweet and the text, but and I've thought for the last half an hour or so, and I still haven't figured it out. So I think I'm gonna just go with it and post the video itself because it's gonna speak, uh, you know, it's gonna speak
You need
more
that
than
text.
no, I think it's
Okay.
gonna be fine. But we need
Okay.
you guys, everyone, to be on Twitter, and we need you to retweet it, reply to it, like it, to just engage in the most ways you can, because it's probably our proudest work to date, animation wise, and it's also is going to set kind of the path forward for the next kind of chapter that we're going into. Because as you probably heard in the other AMAs, we said, hey, like once, the PvP mode, the fishing, the forge is completed, we're going to slowly start transitioning and figuring out what the beta is going to look like for Zevers. And so this is our first step towards it. And we're very, very excited to share this work for you and hope you're going to be as excited as us to kind of keep going towards it and continue building. So I'm just going to click post. We're going to go watch it. And then we're going to discuss everything kind of post.
Yeah, but we weren't gonna tell you much now, anyways. So.
Yeah. So it's just
okay,
1 minute.
you did it. Okay, you did it.
Yeah. It's live. It's live.
Oh my god. Okay.
So I'll just turn off my mic so everybody can listen to the So I'm assuming kind of I watched it again. I fucking love it. Another beautiful work of art from our animations and sound team. Uh, and Kiwi here, along myself and the team, kind of we spent lots of time kind of designing this story that is, on the horizon and coming towards us and marching towards us. And with the beta that we plan to release, hopefully in Q1 of 2024, with, as you've probably seen in the trailer with a whole new world for you to explore, which pretty much I would say for us, it's going to be Zverse 2, in the amounts of content that's going to be there, but it's going to be built on top of all these rails and all these systems that we've been developing for this past year. And so yeah, we're really, really, really fucking excited to kind of share this with you, and tell you a bit more about what's going to happen now. So I'm going to remind once again, in case you kind of got immersed by the video too much, please give it all the love you can, tweet it, like it, so that this video can get as far as it possibly can. We're gonna post another version. We also made a version with a Chinese voiceover, and we actually wrote a script, and we found a voiceover actor and kind of to put it all together. And the quality, the cinematics of it is just beyond what our team has done previously. So yeah, the Zevers land sale, the long-awaited kind of next step in our, let's say, asset class, and basically what it's going to
Yeah.
mean for Zevers, because the goal of it is to bring all the assets we have in the game together, tie it together, along with a brand new kind of meta layer and a meta game mode, that's going to make you the owner of the Zverse itself partially. I don't know. I'll let Euler to do a little intro as well.
Yeah, like this is gonna be fucking huge. That's the thing. It will be very very big, and we are very ambitious with it. I think we're gonna bring in something to the whole Web3 gaming space with this. But like generally, I don't think we're gonna tell much more about this into this AMA. So we're gonna leave you
Maybe, yeah.
a bit with the blue balls, and then obviously we're gonna like explore the whole thing into coming weeks and until the whole mint. So I really hope you enjoy, and this is just a small glimpse into what future holds for the
Well, it's a
Zevers.
pretty big fucking glimpse. It's
That's true. That's true. That's like I was
anyway,
like
so
fucking excited when I saw the thing myself. So uh
and it's not
I hope
it's
you
not the
love it.
last one.
Give
So
us
yeah, and usually as we go with these, there's more stages to the story. And we're not sharing any dates yet, but everything's gonna unravel in the next 2 months or so. And we're gonna take you along the way. And there's been some questions about it. So there was just a question here I saw about some OG person who said they bought a rare egg on the website last year. So you guys are going to be remembered as well and going to be just taken along for the ride, free of charge. So please don't sell your eggs. And because, well, it's just going to be like, us making it up to those people who are there at the beginning. But otherwise, it's going to be a whole new story with brand new characters, brand new mechanics, and everything else. And probably tomorrow or on Friday, we're going to release a Medium article, kind of giving you a little bit more of an overview about what this means and what the land is going to entail and who's it for. But one thing you should know is that all of you mask holders here, that your masks are going to be the key to that land, essentially. Because one thing we can say, the supply is going to be the same as with the Genesis masks, and they will basically work in symbiosis, and it's going to be a game of territory control. It's going to be a war. It's going to be a game of resources and everything else you could kind of imagine it to be. And definitely we're going to, as we go into it, we're going to polish out the mechanics, the ideas, and we're going to be happy to hear your feedback and involve you in all of this. But basically, this is our first steps towards creating something that we think Web3 world hasn't seen yet in gaming. And specifically because we spent the last year and a half building out systems and mechanics that will enable us to kind of create something that nobody else yet has. So yeah, I think perhaps it would be good for you to remember this moment, seeing that there's 40 of you here, 41 in the audience, and I'll remind our mods to please kind of record the specific people who are in here. I'll later tell you how we're gonna reward some of you, or maybe do a raffle for a certain thing. But anyways, yeah, I don't have much else to say. I think beyond my excitement right now. But thanks everyone. I see that everyone's really enjoyed it and are on par with us with what's to come. So I don't know. What should
this
we
is
go
I
through?
think great way to wrap it all up, and let's fucking go. It's gonna be pretty exciting.
Yeah. So everything
Yeah.
that you're saying, the rarities in the land, everything, like the full package, but just imagine that if it was another project doing like a land sale, and they just throw it out there, and there's lots of shitty examples, but even out of the good examples, like Other Side by Bored Apes, um, they still haven't done anything with it, because they did the sale and then they're figuring it out. And our goal is to figure everything out and use the stuff that we have developed to kind of create the most immersive and interesting, like big brain mechanic game mode out there, with involving lands, resources, and everything that goes between. And the best part, what we're doing with this, is that even though the collection is limited, right? The same as the masks, uh, any player, whether they have an NFT or not, is going to be able to participate and take part of it. Because basically the land is going to also open up the doors to the long-awaited guild mechanics that you guys wanted, and we wanted. And so I'm going to leave it at that, and we're going to pull up a little article. We're going to
We
put
already
together an
told too
article.
much. Bro, we
Well,
already
it's just
told too
that
much.
it's just the big things. There's like so much more to discuss. We're gonna put together an article,
That's
share
true.
it in the coming couple of days, and then we can host another AMA, go over that whole thing, get into the questions, tell you which things are still up for debate, and we're happy to kind of have your input on. But yeah, thanks for guys for coming and being here.
Yeah. One last thing I can say is masks will be really, really, really important piece of all that. So that's it.
Yeah,
Thank you guys.
100%. Oh
Thank
wait,
you
but
guys.
like we
And
had, I don't know, like because I had like a little
I
agenda
want to
to
end
go
this.
about.
You
Yeah,
still have
okay.
something on the agenda? Okay, shit. Yeah, we can go. We can go. Sorry.
Yeah, but like I
Just
mean,
change the topic.
if we're not, because I still want to say it because it's going to be relevant in a week or so. Because we are going to have one of the good old, uh, let's say free mint allow list campaigns. Because that's going to be a very important question everybody can ask. So I'll just say it is. There's going to be a campaign, and it's going to begin a week after this one. So I think on October 30th or whatever the Monday there is, I don't know. And I'm going to make another post. We're going to do another AMA next week. And then, yeah, on October 30th, we're going to begin a 4-week campaign, that's going to be hopefully even more interesting than the treasure hunt that we held, and everything else. And we're going to basically evolve all the little details in the game and game modes where you'll be able to go around and basically just commit and go along for the ride for free, so to say. That's about it. Thanks everyone for coming. There's going to be another update coming out tomorrow on Discord, because we're going to launch a Discord economy. And this is kind of an unrelated thing, a small thing I wanted to mention real quick. Is that since we have all the loot pods in the game, we still have a little stash of Genesis pods and weekly harvest loot pods. We're going to launch a little economy in Discord. And basically, the mods and ourselves are going to start rewarding you for coming to the AMAs, participating, I don't know, sharing fan art, engaging, whatever, yada, yada, coming to play. And you'll basically be able to, in parallel, earn some Discord currency that you'll be able to exchange for loot pods that will airdrop to you. So we thought it could just, our Discord, we know it's not, the most hyped and active out there, but we want to start working on it with a dedicated manner and setting up certain things so we can start growing and fostering a healthy community. And so this is kind of the first experiment we're going to try. We're going to see how it goes. But yeah, all suggestions are welcome. And if you want to be, let's say, if you have the capacity and want to volunteer as a, let's say, I don't know, junior community mod, or if you'd like to host certain tournaments or games or whatever, feel free to just hit us up and we'll see how we can get you involved or whatnot. So yeah, thanks for all of this, and on to the next chapter.
Yeah, thanks guys. It was a pleasure to share all this today with you. And yeah, let's fucking go.
Yeah.